Hey guys, LL Man here, back after what, 4 or 5 months at this point, since I last posted a video. Um, I was basically taking a long hiatus from Digimon because I was really burned out, as you know, because I basically have been consistently playing this game since I think basically since like BT02 or like the special booster that we had. So I was just kind of burned out. For those that have been following the channel for a while, you do um I have taken a hiatus before, but that one was only about 3 months. This time I've taken a 4 month hiatus. So yeah, just to kind of chill out, do something else. Again, this something else essentially. But I'm back now, and this time with a Zephagamon deck. I still have trouble pronouncing his name, but Zephagamon, there we go. Um, I've been wanting to do a deck profile on him because I really like how his deck how his deck basically works, and it's just I didn't really have all the cards until now, especially with the break. I'm just now starting to get cards for it in prep, especially for the announcement of them Zefgamon getting a new ace essentially, which also gives him like a kind of like a weird like pseudo like white and gold like paladin form. So it is kind of cool. So I wanted to finally build the deck after all this time and see how it rolls. For now, the main thing is that I do not have scrambles. That's one main thing. I do not have the new promo Galemons that allow you to, I think, skip evolution by suspending something. I will be getting those as I continue to go to locals again because they are, of course, as you all know, they are tournament pack ones. So I hopefully I can get them from my locals and maybe essentially update the deck as much as possible and get it ready for the next set coming out, which is like in like a week or so as of this posting, or actually, yeah, about a week. So yeah. Um, Aside from that, yeah, no, let's actually just get into the deck profile. Also, I do not, with how I got my EX7 card back like a few months ago, I didn't have all the parts of this deck, but I still managed to scrounge up enough to essentially make enough eggs for this. So in this case, we're running 3 of the Fluffymon from the starter deck. He's actually pretty good. In testing, I've been able to essentially use him to suspend stuff that I couldn't suspend. Like my opponent had like a huge board, so I managed to suspend their whole board and punch through them. Specifically, I wiped like half their board using this effect because I killed their main big guy, then I killed their small guy. And then through that, I also got a third unsuspension, which allowed me to kill their third guy in the process, which was really good. Then we have the two Fluffymon from EX7. This one's really good because it gains you a memory whenever you delete an opponent's Digimon in battle. I wish I had more of this. Honestly, if I could, I would be running, I would say, 4 of this and 1 of this, but I don't have any more copies. Sadly, I will be upgrading the deck, and I will be posting that upgraded version later on once we get the ace. But I'm hoping to get at least 2 more copies of this to replace the 2 here. That way, no matter what, I'm just going to be like getting memory all the time essentially. But yeah, that's basically all the eggs that we run. So for rookies, we run, I believe, about 13. We run 4 of the starter deck one because it searches the top 3 cards. You get to add an avian or bird, and 1 card with vortex warrior or liberator. So you basically get almost everything in this deck, including the Tamers, which is really nice. The only thing you will be missing with this one is specifically Paladin mode and the green memory boost, I believe. And yeah, that's and the Kunamon and Palmon that we do run in this build. And then this Inherit is really good, giving that plus 2000, which can help you boost over a lot of stuff, especially in this format. A lot of decks are getting boosts and immunity, so you need this to kind of get over them, essentially. Then we run 3 of the promo Pteromon that gives plus 2000 as its Inherit, but also on play, it suspends a Digimon. This one, I remember having the scrounge up back when it was first coming out, but I do have 4 copies of it, and I was using it in my Tyrant deck, surprisingly, so it was easy to just kind of transplant those cards over here. Then we run 2 of the Pteromon from the start from EX7. This guy is really good, but his effect doesn't really come up as often sometimes. Mainly it's because there's only two copies of it, but it's kind of funny because I usually use this one more often. Because I usually end up drawing it more often. And honestly, comparing this to like Palmon and Kunamon, I would honestly rather them because Palmon basically makes it so you can gain an extra 2 memory by suspending their Digimon. And then with Kunamon, you get that extra search, which allows you to hit any green card compared to this. So I feel like this one's decent, but it might be replaced at some point later on because I have yet to actually use its main effect. Its inherent is where you basically need it because you get that extra memory in combination with the Fluffymon. You're getting 2 memory back, and with I don't know, it just feels really solid that way. Um, that's basically all for the birds. Then we have the two Palmons I did mention before. Palmon is really broken in this deck. Once I get green scrambles, Palmon is going to be even more broken because you can basically have your big Zephagamon stack essentially die, and then you can just bring back Palmon from your trash because maybe you discarded it or they hid it in security, and then you go, okay, I start a new stack, and I get to go off because Vortex allows me to attack this turn, so I don't care that it was just played this turn. So then you go, okay, cool, I'm going to evolve it up. I'm going to suspend your Digimon. Okay, I'm going to gain back 2 memory. Cool. All right, I'm going to evolve it again. Oh, wait, because I have a green tamer out, I get an extra reduction by 1. So you're basically getting free evolutions with her and memory, so it's really solid. So you have to run at least 2 copies. I recommend you run at least 2 because she is just awesome. Then we have two Kunamon. As I mentioned, Kunamon is just a really, really good generic searcher. Shout out to my friend Kendall for showing me this tech way back when Tyrant first came out because he ran 4 copies of this and he would just search out his whole deck with this sometimes. It was crazy. Like I remember him just playing like 2 of them and just getting the cards he needed to just go off and make Tyrant. So this guy is really cool despite the fact that you can't really search him. Um, he's still very valuable to the deck. But yeah, that's basically all the rookies that we run. Hold on. Let's just move them over here. And then we get into the champions or the adult forms. We, of course, run 4 of the Galmon promos. I only have 3 of these promos and 1 of the original art, so I kind of had to do it like this. This guy's really cool. You get to suspend a Digimon, and it boosts itself and gives it piercing if you have Shoto. So if you don't have the other Shoto that gives piercing and blocker, this will give itself blocker, which is really cool. And, of course, plus 2,000, which is on a lot of the vortex birds, which is really cool. Then we have, oh, actually, let me fix that. Then we have 4 of the Galemons from the starter deck. I actually really like this one over the other ones because of the fact that it is a security Digimon and it does allow you to play 1 Liberator trait card with a play cost of 4 or less. So you can play the Tamer, you can play any of the Digimon that are lower in cost, like the rookies, especially him, because you can use that to search. And of course, it does have Vortex, and it does also give plus 2,000. So I really like how this card works. Then we have, for the last adult, or champion, we have 2 of the Galemon from EX07. This guy is really cool for playing out Shoto, but most of the time you should have already played out one of your Shotos to set memory, especially the 4-cost one that sets your memory to 3. And even if they suspend that one, you don't really care. Mainly, it's just so that you can set up the second one on your turn. A lot of decks nowadays do have the ability to suspend your Tamers. So with this, you can actually bypass that and just play it on your turn specifically so they can't suspend it until it gets to their next turn. And even by then, you should have killed their stack so they won't be able to do that, which is really cool. That's all for the champions. For the perfect or ultimate levels, we have, or level 5s in this case, sorry, I completely forgot. As I mentioned, I've been gone for a while. So for level 5s or perfects and or ultimates, we're running 4 of the Grand Galemon from the starter deck. He is essentially the best one at this point, but the EX7 has one advantage over it, which is the ability to make itself immune. This one is basically there to suspend itself and then play out a searcher of some cost, which is really nice. Specifically, it will play out any of the birds, but usually you want to play out either the searcher or the one that suspends. So pretty cool. And of course, this one is crucial specifically for when this Digimon attacks your opponent's Digimon, this Digimon may unsuspend, which is really crucial because then you can get an extra swing, especially most of the time when you vortex, you should have gained back memory to be on your turn, so you can swing again and hit their guy again, which is really nice. So yeah, we run 4 copies of this. Then we run 3 of the Grand Galemon from EX07. This one's really good. I love this card because of the fact that A, it has Vortex, and when Digivolving, he can suspend himself to make himself immune from all Digimon effects. And then he also has the same exact effect as the other Grand Galemon, which lets you untap if you are attacking an opponent's Digimon, which is really cool. But yeah, we run exactly 7. I was running one more level 5, specifically a Rapidmon, the dual color one that lets you de-digivolve, but it wasn't really that great. It didn't honestly come up as often, compared to this, or playing out something extra. So I opted to just keep it at 7 and make it easier to be able to search everything. For level 6s, we run, of course, 4 of the Zephagamon from the starter deck. As most people know me from watching all my other videos, they know that I'm a very control-heavy deck player. So I opted to run 4 copies of this instead of like the 4 copies of the EX7 one, because I like the fact that this one can make itself immune when it unsuspends. Not only that, but it also has the ability of Vortex, and when Digivolving, it suspends a Digimon, and then you can unsuspend one of your Digimon, and obviously that's going to be him. All turns when any Digimon, and this is really crucial too, when any Digimon unsuspends for the turn or whatever, that this Digimon becomes unaffected and it gains plus 3,000. So on your turn, you're going to be boosting this up to 14,000 at least, and with all these guys, you're going to be breaching 16 to 18. So you should be able to basically punch over almost anything essentially. And of course, if you leave a Digimon suspended on your opponent's turn and they unsuspend, he will basically gain immunity on their turn, making it so they can't basically take it out unless they have an option card to get rid of it. But even then, you should have already built a second stack and you should be ready to basically do more damage. And then for the last level 6, we do run 1 of the EX7 one. As I mentioned before, I opt only to run 1 copy because this one is mainly to go for the win essentially, because it's basically your OTK strategy in this deck. For me, since I like controlling the board more, I opted more, as I mentioned, for this. This one does a lot of damage, but it's also mainly there as well for removal, because whenever you suspend a Digimon, if this effect suspended your Digimon, you get to return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the deck. So essentially, this one is just there for removal. So I don't really need to remove them when I already killed them already with this guy. So he's just there as just like a backup strategy. If you can go early with him, you can potentially just swing, get rid of their whole security, then make a new stack and make an immune stack that can just go for game. So that's usually the strategy. That's all for the level 6s. For 7, we only run 1. We run the Paladin Ace. It's kind of self-explanatory for those that have been playing the game. This card is just broken. The fact that you can just strip all sources from all your opponent's Digimon and you get to untap and swing with it most of the time, which is really cool. It's when attacking is just so strong because it can potentially stop aces. So if you do this and then you swing, you go, oh, sorry, I'm going to bottom deck the card you were going to ace on me. Okay, untap, and then you just keep doing it. Especially if they have a gigantic board that they've already set up. This basically stops them from doing a lot of things, which is really good. But if they continue to have more Digimon on board, you can just keep shooting, just keep slashing. So pretty cool. So we have to run at least 1 copy of it because it's a very crucial level 7. The rest of the deck will be just options and tamers. First off, we're running 4 of the agility trainings that came with the starter. This card is still a crucial thing in almost every deck, especially the fact that I do not have scrambles currently. So this is really crucial to help you basically go as fast as possible, search as fast as possible, and get your cards as soon as possible so you can start swinging and doing damage. And of course, the fact that not only does it search, but also it reduces your evolution cost, really solid. So gotta run 4. Then we run 2 green memory boosts because still really solid, giving you extra 2 memory, especially because not that many people are running rookies that stop you from gaining memory as much as they used to. So this is actually way more viable now. Then we have 2 of the option cards that also came in the starter, specifically the, like, I still don't know how to pronounce this, but the 5 cost Embrace card is really strong because it's essentially a cheaper cost of Shine of B, which was pretty good for Tyrant, but for this deck, this fits a little bit more with its theme, and of course the artwork's pretty cool too. Then for Tamers, currently I'm running 3 Shotos from EX07 and then 3 from the starter deck. The Shoto here is really crucial because against decks like Dinomon, if they haven't suspended this yet, and you played it on your turn, essentially, you can potentially just go, okay, I'm going to swing into Dinomon, but then I use this to redirect into you. So that way you still get to swing into their security, and then you get to attack their Dinomon again, essentially. And if you do it correctly, you should be able to make your guy immune so they can essentially play their Dinomon back out, but then you can still punch through it no matter what, which is really good. And then, of course, with this one, you're basically able to untap your Zephagamon again and swing, and give it piercing and blocker for the next turn, which potentially can stop them from going for game, which is really good, especially against decks like single stack decks that especially run fortitude, as I mentioned with like Dinomon. You're able to essentially make it so they can swing, but then they won't get game essentially. So you kind of force them to have to kind of go around your guy, but by doing that, they essentially enable you to come back and take, for you to come back and take them down essentially. So you have to run these. And of course, as I mentioned, this is also a memory setter, so very solid. And then Shoto is just really easy to play. It's a 3 cost, and it gains you an extra memory if they have a Digimon. So you're basically just telling them, hey, please give me a Digimon. All this is really cool, but the main issue is that the main crucial crux of this deck that I noticed while testing it is that you need your opponent to have a board. They have to have a Digimon out for you to essentially interact with them. If they don't, you're essentially just playing a normal like stack OTK deck that goes for multiple checks. And yeah, though there is a really cheeky combo that you can do with this. If you manage to basically swing for all this damage, and you manage to get rid of, like, let's say a big Digimon that they basically can't get rid of or whatever. Basically, you can, if you only have 1 memory left, you can actually hard play this card, and if they have 1 Digimon left and you still have this untapped, you can potentially just go, oh sorry, I'm gonna swing for game because I redirected with this. So really crazy that you can do something like that. But yeah. Aside from that, that's basically all I wanted to put out on this deck because I just wanted to kind of put out a video that on a deck that I haven't really done a video essentially on. As I said before, I've been gone for a while, so I just wanted to do something. And I really like this deck so far. It feels really solid. It feels really good. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit, but just trying to get my thoughts out on this. Aside from that, yeah, that's basically it. As usual, as I say in every video, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you thought of this. As the title says, this is a prototype build. It's not fully ready to be like fully competitive, but it is getting there as I get the parts slowly. So yeah, anyway, see you guys next time.